Here's Jeff Marek of The Sheet.
Hello.
Daily on the
Hello.
Nation Network.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Where are you headed this weekend? Anything fun?
Nothing this weekend. Next week, I am in Baltimore for my youngest son's baseball tournament. It's
Popular
one of those
summer destination.
One of those Ripken tournaments. So the field is immaculate. Everything's taken care of. It's
Oh,
great.
really? Okay.
Yeah, the Ripken tournaments there's a whole series of them. They're fan. My oldest son played in one a couple of years ago. It's great. This kid played in one at a different venue last year, but yeah, the Ripken tournaments are great. So Baltimore next week, gentlemen. Baltimore.
There's always that one or two diamonds in every city for the kids that is dressed up to the nines, and the kids they love it, right? It makes them feel like they're in the bigs.
Especially
you know what they love?
US.
They love the all turf fields. You're not getting any bad hops. Every hop is clean. Oh yeah, great.
But real dirt too. No gravel, real dirt.
And
gotta have the real clay dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I look back at some of the diamonds I played on. You guys are probably the same way as kids. Like they're just like one cut above, just playing on rock. Like a gravel, I'm playing like on a gravel road. I look back on it, I'm like, how did we not all get murdered out there?
Kids breaking ankles in the outfield.
You're playing shortstop. The thing is wobble, bouncing one way or the other, and then oops, it hits a rock up into the chin.
And there's no running out on the field to help. It's just rub some dirt in it, kid. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
get back out there. Yeah, I'm old.
Oh man.
We're about to talk about some older hockey players, but first we're gonna Pittsburgh, they old. But we're going to start with gettable centers for the Vancouver Canucks. So I want your take. Anaheim has signed Michael Granlund. They drafted Roger McQueen. They have Leo Carlson, plus some other center icemen. Is Mason McTavish gettable? Like, would you be surprised by a Mason McTavish trade?
I would not be surprised by anything that Pat Verbeek does right now. Pat Verbeek, not that necessarily the heat is on for the Anaheim Ducks general manager, but I think this is the first year where it's like, okay, you've been in the job here for, what is it, guys, 3.5 years now for Pat Verbeek as the GM of the Ducks.
Where's the traction?
Let's start to see something here, and I think that's why that's why starting last year with the Trouba deal, and then there's the Kreider deal, and then as you mentioned, Matty, the Granlund contract as well. That's why I think now you're starting to see the Anaheim Ducks be a little bit more aggressive to try to make sure they can at least be a wild card team in the Western Conference. So, along sort of roundabout way of me trying to answer the question here, it's probably the most that Mason McTavish has been available. And if he is available, man, start the lineup of teams that are looking for a second line center, whether it's Minnesota or Montreal. Go right down the list. There are a lot of teams that are looking for second line guys right now in the middle. Vancouver Canucks, as we've talked about here every week, clearly one of them as well. So is he available? The way that I'd put it is he's more available now than he's ever been.
Well, Bill Guerin would love that upgrade from Marco Rossi to Mason McTavish. The question is, does the little ball of hate want a little ball of mildly upset? Marco Rossi is not Pat Verbeek. So you could say he would be interested in smaller players being one himself. But again,
he doesn't play like Verbeek.
No.
I love Marco Rossi. He does not play like 50.
And he's brave, but he doesn't play with hate like Verbeek is, right? Like...
Not that little bit of dirty like Pat Verbeek was. No.
But even prime futures, and I mean like ready to play almost futures like a Tom Wielander, for instance, if the Canucks were to get involved in this bidding war, like that doesn't really suit Pat Verbeek either, though, does it?
I mean, I always come short of trying to pigeonhole managers' personalities as being reflective of their team. I think that the successful managers, realize that. Let me give you the example.
But he wants an NHL player, though. I mean,
he wants an NHL player. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I don't think that he wants 23 guys that play the way that he does. Brian Burke would always talk about would always compare running a hockey team to a symphony. And he would say, if you've never been to the symphony, I tried to do my best, Brian, you ever been to a symphony before? This is the way it goes. Everybody files in one by one. First violin comes in last. Usually it's a she, and she's gorgeous, and she's wearing a black dress, and she sits down last. But the music doesn't start until everybody sits down, even that guy in the back, the big chubby guy honking on a tuba like me. The music doesn't start till we all sit down. That's how he describes putting together a hockey team, from first violin to the fat guy in the back honking on the tuba. So I always come shy of saying, like, every manager wants to be looking at their at their own mirror and kissing their image when they look at a hocky team.
Speaking
you guys
of
like that one?
Yeah, very much so. That's very good.
I wouldn't tour on the impressions yet, but
no, not quite yet.
It's the summer, guys.
Yeah, you got a long way to go to be Caliendo. We used to always tease Ray on Verbeek's nickname, the little ball of hate.
Yeah.
How hateful do you have to be to get that nickname in a room with Ray Ferraro?
Yeah, when Ray's looking down.
Think of the hate in that Hartford Whalers room.
Yeah, and actually, I think we've talked about this before. Do you know who it was on the Hartford Whalers that actually got the brass bonanza taken off the air?
Whoa.
Like a team, like an administrator or player?
No, player. Who went and complained to Brian Burke. Berkey always got heat for it.
I've got to guess. Ron Francis.
No,
because he seems like a fuddy-duddy.
Berkey always got the heat for it. One player that came in and said, the guys hate it. It sounds like we don't want a college fight song as our goal song.
Yeah.
Who was that guy?
Was Mike Liut still there?
No. Liut might have been, but it wasn't Mike.
Mark Howe?
Dave Tippett. Hang on. Dave Tippett. This is our Easter egg.
This is
Dave
Easter
Tippett.
egg. Finally, I flipped the tables. No, you just mentioned his name a second ago.
Oh, Ray?
Nope.
No, Ray likes it. Verbeek.
Pat Verbeek killed the brass bonanza.
Oh my God!
Those of you who love the brass bonanza and have always
how dare he? How dare he?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that was a staple of sports talk radio in Canada.
Ray loves it.
Oh yeah.
There are hockey people that have that as their ringtone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Nazem Kadri available?
I think last year he wasn't. Let me rephrase that. Last year at the beginning of the season, I think that Craig Conroy was listening both on him and Rasmus Andersson. And then as the Calgary Flames became more and more competitive as the season wore on, he became less and less available, to the point where trade deadline rolled around and Conroy said nobody's available. I would imagine for the right price that Nazem Kadri, Conroy would certainly listen. They're put it this way: they're not doing this on Kadri's timeline,
right?
And I think I would imagine that if presented the right opportunity, that Kadri would probably go. But I don't think he wants to go to a non-contender.
Gotcha.
If he goes at all.
What do you think of Evan Rodriguez in Florida?
I think that that's a great question. First of all, I love him. I love that player.
Yeah, good player.
I think a lot of people are singing from the same hymn book on that one. The thing about the Florida Panthers is I think that they are trying to do whatever it takes, and Evan Rodriguez is giving them as much time as they need to make that work. He wants to be there. They want him there. However Bill Zito can do this, I think they may want to make Evan Rodriguez work there. So that'll be a tough one.
Jared McCann.
Seattle is so fascinating to me. Seattle is interesting to a lot of people. I think cynically you can look at that team and say, how many middle six forwards can you have on one team? The problem is, as we've seen with Seattle, they really can't score goals. And does Seattle entertain the offer of letting go someone who, as we've seen before, has the ability to score a quote unquote easy goal, just skate down the ice and snap it in? I do think that Seattle is open for business on a lot of things, specifically with the new general manager Jason Botterill in the big chair now. But I could see Jared McCann. available. If you look at the draft history of the Seattle Kraken, and they just picked up Jake O'Brien this year as well, they are going to have too many centers. Berkeley Catton's going to probably have to play on the wing here. Matty Beniers and Shane Wright being 1-2. So if McCann fancies himself a center, that's not where he's going to be long-term. Chandler Stevenson's on a long-term deal. And if Vancouver is shopping, I know that Botterill would probably look at it and say, okay, how are we going to replace those goals? But I don't think in the long-term future for Seattle that Jared McCann is part of it.
Well, and how reticent would Botterill be to trading with the Vancouver Canucks? The rivalry's not really there yet.
They need to face off against each other in the playoffs to really automatically take each other out of the trade phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason they seem less likely to do it than Anaheim does. Even though, I mean, really, what's the difference? You're both in the division. I mean, geographic proximity doesn't really make it even more or less likely to make a trade, right? It's one of those old things. How many trades between the Leafs and Sabres occur?
You know what the interesting one was? I'll give you a sleeper one. This one I always found fascinating. The Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. I think of how many years they were together in like the Adams division, for example.
Yeah.
We're going back. They did not make a trade. And I know people in your audience are going to scream, well, what about Peter McNabb and Andre Savard? That was compensation for a free agent signing. That wasn't a trade. They did not make a deal until Danny Paille to the Boston Bruins.
That was the first trade they ever made.
38 years or something like that?
Sabres and Boston Bruins made a trade. Yes.
You're kidding me.
That's hysterical.
That was the first one.
And is that because
ownership?
Doesn't the Jacobs family, doesn't their business originate in Buffalo, Western New York?
Jeremy Jacobs has an estate. I almost said house. Has an estate, I believe, in Rochester.
The help sleeps in a house. Yeah. he does not.
Yeah. Okay. They have since made a Taylor Hall Curtis Lazar trade for Anders Bjork. Yeah. But no, you look at the Sabres trade history, there's not a lot of spoke to be there.
They were right beside each other in the Adams division for how many years, guys? Right.
Okay,
and don't forget, that was the era where, and it is different now, where you never traded within the division. That was like the unspoken rule, never trade within the division.
Mm-hmm. We have a poop ton of developmental hockey news.
Okay.
All the way up to the American Hockey League.
I want to go Pittsburgh here, though, before we're done, because he really wants to talk Pittsburgh.
Okay, that'll be our exit.
Okay.
That'll be my Easter egg.
We've talked about this for a long, long time. Why did it finally happen? And is it any way related as a countermeasure to the NCAA? Teams can store a 19-year-old in the AHL. Is that their way of saying, we're going to make you a pro sooner rather than later? Don't go to college. Is that what this is? But
no,
it's a great move.
It's an interesting move. This is something that teams have called. This is an issue that teams have raised for a long time now. Now, I want to make some, in my opinion, anyhow, making the jump from a Canadian Hockey League team to the NHL, we all know is really hard. Very make that jump right away. But also making the jump to the American Hockey League is really tough. Like, I know we assume that, like, oh man, every 19-year-old is going to go. No, like that is not
only one's allowed. Only one's allowed anyway. But yeah,
one per team, absolutely. Yeah. So, but then again, like if you're a stacked team like the London Knights, that might mean you lose 3 players. Like it could totally decimate a junior hockey franchise. This is something that managers have been clamoring for a long time. Like you look at players like Taylor Hall, for example, right? I mean, remember, and how many times have you seen players struggle in their first NHL season because what would have been the point sending them back to junior hockey just to go and dominate and put up 160 points? This is that middle ground compromise. But I honestly, guys, I really don't think it's going to be as I don't think it's going to be, we're turning on the faucet of 19-year-olds going into the American Hockey League. It's hard, man. It's hard playing as a 19-year-old in a pro league with men, especially in North America, where the American Hockey League is the number 2 league in the entire world. I know it may feel that way. There's going to be a lot of junior hockey operators whose noses are put out of joint about this one, and I get it. But at the same time, I don't know that this is, because everyone's waiting about, this is a death knell for the It's not going to be the death knell for the CHL. Teams know how difficult making that jump is. Right. But honestly, guys, this is one that NHL teams have wanted for a long time.
And you may not fill it every year, right? Like a team may not use it every year.
No, you're under no obligation. No. Not at all. And, one of the other things, because here we are, listen, Gavin McKenna makes the move and he goes to Penn State. And I'm sure you guys were on plenty of shows this week as well, weighing in on what this meant for the future of the CHL and the future of this relationship and everything. So right now, everyone is trying to figure out what this new landscape is going to be like. And one of the things that I find hasn't been talked about enough, or really even at all, there's going to be players that go to NCAA. There's going to be players that stay in the CHL. And there's also going to be players that go, realize they don't like it, or it's not what they thought. The competition level is maybe too high for them and they're down in the lineup and they're not used to that, or they're not playing at all. And those players will go back. Make no mistake about it. There are plenty of players that have commits that'll start playing Division I, and at a certain point, we'll go back to the CHL. But this is a new reality that we all have to live with. We can all, every fan of the Canadian Hockey League can stomp their feet, but it's kind of like the kid at the zoo who's just lost his balloon and he's got his hands up in the air trying to grab the balloon, but the balloon is gone. It's gone now. This is just
that balloon reality. Ain't coming back.
The balloon ain't coming back. No, this is now you got to figure, okay, so how are we going to swim in this water?
I noted the portion of your show this week with Greg Wyshynski where you guys talked about what should transpire with the Pittsburgh Penguins here over the course of the next year. I suppose I never thought of it in these terms, but if there is a pathway for Crosby out of Pittsburgh, it happens after Geno Malkin leaves. That he's last guy standing, that he does not leave before Geno leaves, and the Penguins have informed Malkin that this will be his final season in Pittsburgh. So, 2-part question.
Okay.
Think Malkin would come to Vancouver and his old bosses? And number 2, do you think this is the last year for Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh?
I don't know the answer to number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be blunt. The way that I've phrased it, well, the way that I'm thinking about it is like this, Matt. What you're going to see is a test, and you're going to see a struggle between 2 things that live inside of Sidney Crosby. We're going to find out, because we all loved him at the Four Nations, and we all said, "Wow, isn't this great? Look at Crosby in a competitive game. This is awesome. I wish we could see this in the NHL playoffs."
Mm-hmm.
What's going to win out here? His competitive streak or his loyalty? Because it's going to be one or the other. Because there's not going to be a postseason for the Pittsburgh Penguins
this year or next.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And he just watched Brad Marchand. He knows Brad very well too. Yeah. He just watched Brad Marchand rent himself out and get another cup. He had to have seen that and gone, "Oh, that looked pretty fun."
Yep. Now again, Brad Marchand wanted to stay with the Boston Bruins, but they weren't coming together on a contract. So the one thing I've always maintained about Crosby is intensely loyal, but we all know how much of a competitor he is playing in events like the Four Nations and playing next year in the Olympics enough to keep Crosby's competitive juices satiated, so he can still go back to the NHL and say, look, I know we're not a competitive team. I know we're not a playoff team, but I'm loyal to the Pittsburgh Penguins and I want to retire a Pittsburgh Penguin. I think that's what we're going to see for the next couple of years out of Sidney Crosby. What's going to win? His competitive spirit or his loyalty?
What's
I don't know the answer to that.
What's going to win out for Malkin? Would it purely a contender or familiar people?
It's cynically, I'll just say money. Cynically, I'll just say if he wants to come back, who's going to stroke the biggest check for Malkin? Although your point is an interesting one. Like there is a real familiarity, obviously, with Vancouver Canucks management with Gino Malkin, and it's all going to come down to, I think, what the decimal point. Well, first of all, it's going to come down to, does he still want to play? Is he healthy enough to play? And to your previous point, like, is he going to step into a lineup that, because he's not coming in for league minimum, right? So if
were you talking as a signing next summer, or are you talking mid-season trade?
I'm talking a mid-season trade.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're talking mid-season trade.
Well, a mid-season trade, but
a mid-season trade. He's got to okay it, right? So
yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
I could be wrong on this. Again, I'm just doing this based on feel. I can't. I have a hard time with that one, seeing him walk away or okay a deal mid-season at deadline. I think if
really, you think he's gonna? Okay,
I do. That's always the way it's been described for me and Malkin.
Fair enough.
For me with Malkin, rather. That he stays, and we'll see what happens at the end of the contract.
And honestly, Jeff, full no move. We should note. Wouldn't you say cynically, money? He's only making $6.1 million.
Yeah, true.
Right? Like, for a player of this stature, like, he's now watching stars in the league make double,
which he signed only a few years ago.
So. And then, the Russians, they love New York, they love South Florida. So I would have to think.
And he's 39 in 3 weeks.
You've got New York metropolitan area teams that are competitive, or Florida can make it work. Maybe Tampa. I would think they're the leaders in the clubhouse. All right, Jeff Marek.
One final thing. One point that I want to make, because there are a lot of people that, I mean, listen, PK Subban does this on ESPN on the regular whenever the Penguins are playing. Takes a swipe at the Dubas Pinata. Here's the thing I've always tried to remind people of. There's one number that you need to remember with the Pittsburgh Penguins and their general manager, and that number is 7. Kyle Dubas got a 7-year contract from Fenway Sports, not a 5. He got a 7. And the reason he got a 7 was the mandate from Fenway Sports is these guys retire Penguins. So essentially, I mean, I guess spinning your wheels is one way to phrase it. Spin your wheels until these guys retire. But in the meantime,
endorsed spinning of wheels.
Just pick up prospects and pick up draft picks. You saw yesterday with the Matt Dumba trade. That wasn't a trade for Matt Dumba. That was a trade for a second-round pick.
Right. I just all the smart people at Fenway Sports and the analytics department of the Red Sox, which was revolutionary at one point, and we're retiring guys as Penguins. Like,
that's what they wanted.
Silly.
That's what Mario wanted, and that's what Fenway wants. They want these guys to retire Penguins.
Yeah, Mario might have had a lot of influence there.
No, it's hey, if you're a Penguins fan, I get it, but also if you're a hockey fan, man,
I know.
Sidney Crosby has not won a playoff series since 2018. Yeah, he has won just 6 playoff games in 6 years. So they haven't even been close, and they've missed the playoffs 3 years running. And as Blake said, it's going to happen again.
Take him out of the
reason
hall.
I said 19, the Jeff Marek Easter egg.
19.
We are 30 years this week, sir, since one of the most consequential trades in Vancouver Canucks history, where Hall of Fame elect Alex McGillney arrived here on Canada's West Coast from the Buffalo Sabres. It was a 3-piece deal. Michael Pekka, who was a young center iceman who turned into a Sabres legend, right? Michael Wilson, and a first-round pick in 1995. The Canucks' first-round pick in 1995 went to Buffalo. Who did they select with that pick? It was 14th overall in the 1995 draft. I will give you a hint. Defenseman who went on to play 800 games in the National Hockey League, all but 62 of them with the Sabres.
95 draft?
1995, 14th overall. Defenseman, played 800-plus NHL games, all but 62 of them with the Sabres. Defensive defenseman. In fact, I'm not sure you would see this today. 802 games, 21 career goals, 125 points. His career high for goals in a season was 5. His career high for points in a season was 17.
Was he a Finn?
Nope. Canadian, out of the from Kingston, Ontario, out of the Niagara Falls Thunder program.
Wow.
Whenever I think Niagara Falls Thunder, I always think of Brian Fogarty, the best junior hockey defenseman.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. One of the 49 goals. Was it 49 goals one year for Brian Fogarty?
And like 121 points. And he took over games like nobody. And I never saw Mario live, so I always say the best junior hockey player I ever saw with my own eyes was Brian Fogarty.
47 goals in 88, 89. I was a younger lad in Ottawa at the time. We would go to 67s games. Fogarty and Lindros were the two best junior players I've ever seen.
Yeah,
155 points as a defenseman in 60 games. Brian Fogarty. He was 2.5 points per game.
Grab the puck and do whatever
he wanted. Whatever he wanted
with the game. He was the best player I saw.
So this guy's kind of a Sabres legend. He's absolutely beloved in Buffalo. I believe he's working in hockey right now.
I am blanking.
Yeah, he's okay. Jeff?
No, I don't got it. 95.
Yeah.
Overall, who is it?
Jay McKee.
Jay McKee, I don't know.
Holy
for a long
smokes,
time.
One of the best shot blockers ever. Now he's the coach of the Brantford Bulldogs of the
There you go.
Jay McKee, who ended up going to the St. Louis Blues on a 5x5 contract.
But only played 62 games?
After leaving the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, shoot. I screwed that up. He played 3 years for St. Louis. My bad.
He's a nose. And now
I'm looking at the hockey card, and I just glossed over St. Louis.
St. Louis
and led you astray.
How many years did he end up
3
playing?
Three years in St. Louis, 1 year in Pittsburgh.
Okay, I think was it a 5x5 deal he signed, or a 5x3?
Michael Wilson was also our first round pick of the Canucks, 20th overall in '93.
Now he's got that 7-footer, right? Jay McKee does. He's in the Brantford program, right? The 7-foot Russian kid.
Oh yeah. They draft in the import, from playing at Wilkes-Barre. I think the plan with him is I think they want to put him in Junior A next year.
Oh, really?
See if they can actually get him good enough to get him good enough into the OHL. 6 foot, was it 6'9"?
I think he's 7 foot. He's 7 feet.
7 foot.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. The other thing about Mike Peca that I always loved, he was the master, and I don't know whether this is legal or not, but do you remember his move where at the end of penalties he would stay in the box? Have you seen this?
To surprise people?
He caught Domi with one in a Buffalo-Toronto game, and I'm like, is that legal? Like, when your penalty's expired, I always wondered,
have to leave?
Do you have to get out of the box? Because Pekka would like linger for a second or two. Not always, but he would read
when it benefited. Yeah.
And if the play was coming through the neutral zone, he'd just kind of hang in the penalty box for an extra second, and then play peekaboo coming out of the door. He caught Domi with one. Woo-hoo! It was a beaut. You can see it on YouTube. It's available. It's great.
Pekka, the other thing, whatever they listed him at weight-wise, he was half that. Like,
oh no, I know.
To see him in a room after a hockey game, I've never seen a guy who just looked more like he was going to evaporate in front of you. He was sort of pale-skinned. He was almost translucent. You could see every vein. Like, he was a full-effort guy, and you're sitting there going, my God, Mike, like, go get yourself some nourishment before
that was Garth Snow for me. I remember walking in going, Garth Snow was all pads. Yeah. All pads.
Okay, buddy, have a good weekend.
One, how come, speaking of all pads, when's the last time, I'll leave you with this one. When's the last time you had a conversation about we need to shrink the goalie equipment.
Yeah, I haven't heard in a while.
Haven't heard it in a while.
The net hasn't changed size. The equipment hasn't changed size. Alain Vigneault was right. If players want to score more goals, they have to learn how to shoot better. And
incidentally,
they have. Yeah,
that was 2 weeks in a row I've screwed up the Easter egg because last week I didn't have Draisaitl amongst the $100 million contract.
Can you nail this shit down, please?
I will be better, Jeff Marek. I assure you.
Well, listen. In protest, I won't be able to appear for the Easter egg next week. I will be in Baltimore at a.
Right. Okay.
Yes. That's my protest.
Have yourself. Yes.
I'm
have
leaving
yourself
for
a
Maryland.
marvelous.
Thanks, boys.
Bye now. See ya.